Once upon a time in a small village there lived an old lady. She was very old with silver hair and a face full of gentle wrinkles. But her eyes, they were bright and full of kindness. Everyone in the village loved her because she was always happy even when life was hard. She lived alone in a little house near the big banyan tree. She had no children and her husband had passed away many years ago. But still she never complained. She would sit under the tree, talk to people and always smile. In that village, people worked hard. Some were farmers, some were carpenters, and others worked in the small market. Sometimes the rain didn't come and the crops dried up. Sometimes people fell ill and couldn't go to work. Life was not easy and many villagers were often sad or worried. One day a young woman named Radha came to her. Radha was crying, her face full of worry. She said, "I don't know what to do. My husband has gone to the city to find work, but he has not sent any money. My children are hungry and I am scared." The old lady looked at Radha and smiled softly. "Sit down, my child," she said. "Tell me, what do you think will happen?" Radha wiped her tears and said, "I don't know. I feel like bad things will happen. What if my husband cannot find work? What if he forgets about us?" The old lady shook her head gently. "Radha, when we think bad thoughts, we feel worse. But if we think good thoughts, we feel better and sometimes good things happen." Radha asked, "But how can I think good thoughts when everything is so bad?" She smiled again and said, "Let me tell you a story." Radha looked at her curious. The old lady began. "Once there was a poor man who had nothing. He had no food, no money, no family. He sat by the river crying. An old woman came to him and asked, 'Why are you crying?' The man said, 'I have nothing. How can I be happy?' The old woman smiled and said, 'You have the river, you have the trees, you have the sun. Look around you. There is beauty and life everywhere. If you think about what you don't have, you will always be sad. But if you think about what you do have, you will find peace.'" The man listened and slowly has stopped crying. He began to see the good things around him. And from that day, his life began to change. The old lady looked at Radhas and said, "You see, Midir, the man's life did not change because of magic. It changed because he changed his thinking. When we think positive, our heart feels lighter and we can face problems better." Radha thought about the story and said, "Will my thinking really change my life?" She smiled gently and said, "Yes. If you wake up every morning and tell yourself, 'Today will be a good day,' you will find the strength to work to care for your children and to wait for your husband with hope. But if you only think about what might go wrong, you will feel sad and weak." Radha nodded slowly. "You understand. I will try to think good thoughts from now." "That's the first step, my child," she said. Radha left the old lady's house with a lighter heart. Every day she remembered her words. She woke up and said to herself, "Today will be a good day." She worked hard, took care of her children, and prayed for her husband's return. After a few weeks, Radha received a letter from her husband that he had found a job in the city and was sending money back home. Radha was overjoyed. She ran to the old lady's house to share the news. The old lady smiled and nodded. "You see, my dear, when we think positive, we invite good things into our life. Problems will always come. But if we face them with a hopeful heart, we can overcome them." Soon, other villagers began to hear about the old lady's wise words. Many people came to her and shared their problems. The old lady gave the same advice. Think good thoughts and good will come. The villagers loved her even more because her words had changed their lives. She had taught them the power of positive thinking.